Z in Hollis, New York. See more better with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to cut Transition Signature Gray lenses with Crizal Sapphire 360 for your RayBan 2132 color 6052, which is the black crystal in the 55 eye size. Let me begin by taking everything out of the original packaging as RayBan sends it to me. Your Italian leather RayBan case. We got the frame, we got the RayBan cleaning cloth with the junk mail, because you just don't get enough of that in your mailbox at home. And of course it comes with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to prevent the temples from rubbing together during shipping when it is being shipped from Italy. Of course, this is all RayBan. Well, 99% of all RayBan sunglasses are made in Italy. 99% of their ophthalmic frames are made in China. So this is the RayBan 2132 New Wayfarer color 6052 in the 55 eye size. I'm going to begin by taking out the original G15 lenses, the heavy glass lenses, put them on the table, and I'm going to cut lightweight unbreakable lenses for 3/4 of the frame. The weight of the frame has now been removed, and I'm going to put the lightweight lenses in there. But first I'm going to put it into the tracing element of my blocker. I'm going to program this shape into the computer. You are Secret Agent 1298. So years from now, should you ever need new lenses for this frame, I can mail you just the lenses and you'll see how to pop them in. I'm going to go ahead and hit the green circle, which is started in every language. The little stylus is going to pop up and go around and trace the inside bevel of the right side of the frame before doing the same thing on the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. You buy a genuine, authentic RayBan frame and you'll receive one free pair of clear single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipt has my federal ID tax number, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, you will get reimbursed for this purchase, whether they are prescription or not. In just a moment, that shape will pop up onto the screen, and then I will enter your pupillary distance and optical center height. There we go. So your PD for your right eye is 32. The computer starts at 32.5, so I'm going to tap the minus button one time until it comes to 32. I want to raise the optical center up about 2.5 inches to 23. Now we can come down here and get your lenses prepped. Your right eye is minus 150, minus 75 at 100, minus 150, minus 75 at 100. I'm going to put the power drum on minus 150. Let me zero everything out, make sure it's perfect. It is. I'm going to put it on minus 150. Take the lens out of the protective sleeve. Comes with a little laminate on the front of the lens that protects the lens from when it's anything rubbing against it during shipping. I'm going to take that off. And have I done this before? Look at my collection down here. I've done this a few times. So you got the Crizal Sapphire. That is awesome. Awesome. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to rotate the lens until the spherical component comes into view. I'm going to check the astigmatism correction. That looks good, and I'll explain all that in just a moment. I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses. And why didn't it happen to the... Let's clean that up there. I need some more ink on that center one. Come on, ink. Come on, ink. You got to work with me. You got to work with me. Okay. Now let's try this again. It is a never-ending battle with this ink and this lensometer. So minus 150. Now let's hopefully, we got 3 dots on there. We do this time. And this is the right lens. I also want to mark this. This is the, again, your prescription is minus 150, minus 75 at 100. This way you'll know you're getting the authentic packets. These are the Transition Signature 7 Gray with Crizal Sapphire. I'm going to underline your prescription, underline that part, and then a Crizal Sapphire 360. And I always like to write this in red. This is the right lens. We're going to do the same thing now for the left lens. Minus 1 1/4, minus 75, minus 1 1/4, minus 75 at 85. Put the power drum on minus 1 1/4. Take the lens out of the protective sleeve, take the laminate off, put that in there, rotate the lens until the spherical component comes into view first. which is the -1 1/4. Check your astigmatism correction, which is the second curve, and put 3 dots on your lenses. And this is the left lens, and I'm going to go ahead and put that right one up there. -1 1/4, -75, transition signature 7 gray with Crizal Sapphire 360. And this is the left lens, and you're going to get all of this in the mail, just so you know you get the original packaging. And if you guys miss any of that, let me recap. You know that bad joke was coming. So, okay, so this is a block, or as I like to call them, Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting, so I need 2 double-sided adhesive stickers, of which I've got 2 right here. The black side is the sticky side. Throw that onto the first one and drop that up there. Do the same thing now for the second one. There is a silver button on the back. That is a magnet. It's going to do its job twice tonight. The first time it's going to attach itself to another magnet there in the arm. Pull the paper away to make the black side sticky. Line up the magnet. And the reason why I put the black dots on there, it tells me that it's oriented in there just perfectly. So that blue cross is the geometric center of your frame. Your eye is just above that in inset. So I'm going to get everything lined up there just perfectly. We are good to go. I'm going to hit the button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. I'm going to do the same thing now for the lens that ain't right, which will be played by the part of the left lens. Put that on there. Now, very unique. Your pupillary distance for your right eye was, you were telling me it was 68. When you broke them down, it was 36 for the left. So I'm going to tap that button several times on the plus button until we get up to 36. Very unique. It's one of the most difference, 4 millimeters difference between your right and left. That is, I've never had that happen before. That's why I had to double check. Excuse me, I haven't double checked that before I was going to make his lenses for him. But he's wearing that now. Everything is working perfectly, so why fix it if it ain't broke? Hit that button. The arm's going to come down, place the block onto the left lens. Now this is the edger. This is Essilor Nexia lenses. Essilor lenses itself, but this costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everyone go out and buy their own. Put it on your kitchen counter. You can cut your own lenses at home, and you won't need this guy with the 2 thumbs and the bad jokes to do it for you. The actual cutting wheel is this diamond crusted wheel that's going to grind away your lens material until it's the final size. And this wheel in the center, we'll put that with the channel, that little valley, that's what's going to put the V-shaped bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. I'm going to wake up the computer. You can see the last job I cut was a drill mount silhouette that is on there, the 4 drill holes. We're going to wake this up. Number 1298. Number 1298. These are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, high index plastic, I would select that. I'm not going to polish the edge of the lens because it's not going to be seen. I'm not going to put a safety bevel on the front convex surface of the lens. I'm only going to do that on the rear. But one thing I'm going to do in advance is I'm going to bring it down 1/4 millimeter. And I bet you from experience I still have to take it down more, but I'm going to start off there. Press that on there firmly. Put the magnet into another magnet there in the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because by now, say it with me, I don't know this machine well enough to call it chuck. I'm going to hit the green arrow, which is start in every language. The door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced by 2 wide styluses, making sure that it's large enough to fit into the frame. And you can see as it's tracing the shape of the right lens. And just like before, it's measuring the thickness at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing. Now in just a moment, the lens is going to drop down onto the cutting wheel. The light you see flickering in the background is water. That's there to catch the optical sawdust as it comes off the cutting wheel. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic, high index plastic, and Trivex lenses cut wet, meaning that water sprays onto the lens for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle, just to wash away any optical debris that you may see beginning to form on the edge of the lens. And yes, it is there. It just fell off, but it was there. But as I mentioned, your lenses are made out of polycarbonate, which is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. They are virtually unbreakable. These are high-impact ballistics grade lenses, the same lens material that our soldiers wear overseas in combat zones to protect their eyes from shrapnel and flying debris. This also has 100% UVA and UVB protection We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin, so you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that need to be reapplied every couple hours when you're in direct exposure to the sun. This is permanent and never needs to be reapplied. Now you got the Transition Signature 7 gray lenses. Essilor calls Transitions, well, polycarbonate airwear. Airwear is 40% thinner and lighter than plastic, as I mentioned. You have the initials TR, which stands for Transitions, the Roman numeral 7, and GR for gray. Now, I highlighted that these are the new Crizal Sapphire 360 UV lenses. And I'll demonstrate the Transitions a little later, but the anti-glare coating is 3 features in one. The first feature is that it reduces glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain. But from street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights and such. So now it's on the bevel wheel. The second feature, it goes by the initials ARC, which stands for anti-reflection coating. It reduces reflection, so when someone's looking at you, they're not looking at their reflection in your glasses, so it makes for much better eye contact. Plus, if someone takes a picture with a flash, or if you take a selfie, you're less likely to see the reflection in the camera lens. The third feature that I like, which is the practical side, is that it comes with the industry's hardest scratch coating. The machine that applies the Crizal Sapphire costs well over $1 million. It's about, and it's the size of a room, and it takes over 24 hours to vaporize 9 different coatings onto your lens. So because of the time and the expense of that, they put the industry's hardest scratch coating on there to protect your time and investment. So a little lever has come out. At the end of that lever is a spinning wheel. A very high grit sandpaper. It's going to grind away, smooth out any rough surfaces that are left over on the edge of your lenses. Even though no portion of this lens will protrude from the frame, the reason why I put that safety bevel on the rear surface, as you will see in just a moment, I'm going to dry everything off here. Go ahead and take that black dot off. It is no longer needed. Run my thumbnail around to get any extra optical sawdust off the edge of your lens. And then I just drop that on the floor. Let's see if it fits first time around, which I doubt it will. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner, try and press down at the nose. Yeah, no, it ain't going to happen. I'm going to take it down another 1/4 millimeter. I'm at 0.25. I'm going to keep tapping till we get to -50. Which is a half a millimeter smaller. I wear the size 52. The 55 just has a deeper bevel. The size 52 I can cut first time with no problem. The size 55 I may end up having to take it down to about a -75 or 80 just from experience. Hit the retouch button. The door is going to close. The clamp's going to shut. This time the lens is just going to drop down onto the bevel wheel. It's not going to go back to the cutting wheel. The old carpenter saying you can always cut more off of a board, you can never add it back on. I start a little bit large and work my way down. And the other thing is, a lot of people will use this $300 hair dryer, that's all it is, to heat up the plastic. It makes the plastic more pliable where the frame can stretch a little bit. If you're in a hurry, people do that. It's a simple trick. I do everything what's called the cold mount. I mount the lens into the frame while it is cold, so it'll snap in there easily. I don't want to force the lens in there. If I did, it would cause the frame to stretch, or what we in the industry called roll. If you can imagine the bevel of your frame being like a gutter. If the lens were too large, it would force the bottom of the frame, which is the thinnest part of the frame, to roll outwards because of the force exerted on your frame. That gives you an ugly cosmetic look, as well as shortening the life of the frame. So that's why I make sure to cold mount everything, so make everything nice and perfect. That's the other reason I put the safety bevel on the lens, as you will see again as I open this door with my mind. I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. It just takes me a couple hours of staring at it, but I can do it. Let's see if I can get that black dot off of there. Get off of there, you. That's leftover ink from the lensometer. Dry all that off. Now again, the reason why I put the safety bevel on the back surface of the lens, I doubt any portion of this lens is going to protrude from the frame, but as I push down onto the frame, I don't want any portion, any sharp edges from that lens to go onto to mess up the finish of the edges of the frame as well. So that's why I put that safety bevel on the back surface of the lens. I'm going to go down another 1/4 millimeter. The right lens always takes me the longest. Once I get the right lens in there, I flip it over, cut the left. It already knows what size to cut the left lens. It does take me a little bit longer for the right. I apologize for the length of this video. Of course, most videos on YouTube, they say don't go over 6 or 8 minutes. This is probably going to be about 23 to 25 minutes. So I'm going to go well past what they recommend. But I make no apologies for being a perfectionist. You want someone like me to cut your lenses for you. I cut every pair of lenses that get shipped worldwide. So I don't mind taking the time to do it right the first time. Now again, just a moment, a little lever is going to come out. At the end of that lever is a spinning disc, little wheel. It's going to spin around the edges just to smooth out anything. And now Z, this time I want you to open the door with your mind. Hey, pretty good, Z. First day on the job and you're already doing it right. So let me dry everything off. Again, running my thumbnail around the edge, get all the optical sawdust off. Tuck it in at the outside corner using my thumbs. Let's push down there. Oh, it snaps off easily. And I dropped the block on the floor. Let me pick that up. Peel that away, use my hand approved drying method, throw that in there, take that sticker, recycle it on the top of my artwork, come over here, flip that over to L, press that on there firmly. That Crizal Sapphire is so hydrophobic, it popped the block right off. Hit the green button, the door closes like before, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced by 2 wide styluses, making sure that it's make sure it's large enough to fit into the frame. But you can see as it's going around tracing the shape of the left side, and just like before, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly precisely where to place the bevel so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing. And what did I tell you, Z? You got no edge thickness whatsoever. So I'm going to come down here to my lensometer, spin the axis wheel back to 100, put it in above that black dot, which is your pupillary distance, and I am reading minus 150, exactly halfway between 1 and 2. I'm going to check your astigmatism correction of minus 75, and we end up at minus 2 1/4, 1 tick mark past 2 going towards 3. That's because the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, starting at 0 and going up in quarter steps, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75. You're on the 6th rung of a ladder. You are nearsighted. That's why there is a minus sign. You need 6 steps of far-sighted correction. With your glasses off, everything is much too small, much too large. So this will minify down to the correct size. Once it's the correct size, you have an additional 3 steps of astigmatism correction. Uncorrected astigmatism makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. So you now 6 plus 3, you have 9 steps of total correction. Astigmatism is just a second curve on your eye. You have a spherical curve this way that does the minification. You have another 3 steps this way, and that's how you line those 2 curves up to make everything nice and crisp. That's what astigmatism is a fine-tune knob, and we're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 100. A straight line is 0 to 90 to 180. We're going to turn the knob just past the 90 meridians to 100. Now your left eye, you need 5 steps of far-sighted correction, again, the same amount, 3 steps of astigmatism correction, so we're going to end up at minus 2 for a combined value. These first 2 numbers are real values to be concerned with. This last number could be anywhere from 0 to 180. It just tells us where to make everything nice and crisp. This tells us what powers to put into the lens. So this frame, the RayBan 2132 New Wayfarer, sells for $150. The Transitions Gray adds $69.99. The Crizal Sapphire adds $139.99. for a total of $359.98 for a pair of prescription RayBans with Transitions Gray and Crizal Sapphire. Who else can do something like that for you? And video it on top of that, show you what they're doing. So that lever's coming out, that tells me it's in the last 20 seconds. You're just putting the safety bevel onto the back surface of the lens. You see, I do appreciate you purchasing from these. You could have purchased these from a large giant corporation, but you wanted to go with someone independent. I greatly appreciate you looking out for the small David competing with corporate giants out there. All I got is a little slingshot and my GoPro camera, and that's how I'm going to bring down, at least continue to. I may not bring down those giants, but I'm going to keep fighting them on my terms. Where's your frame? I can't see. I've already lost your. I'm sitting there thanking you. I can't find your frames. So I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner, push down with my thumbs. That snaps in there easily. So the other thing I'm going to do, because I took these down 3/4 of a millimeter, I am going to mark that minus 0.75. So in the future, should you ever need different lenses for this frame, I'll know exactly what size to cut them at so they fit in there perfectly. Drop that off, take that off, stick that on there. Now, the reason why, just in the years from now, should you need new lenses, the way to take these lenses out, turn the frame over. On the side I'm working on, I'm closest to them, I stick my thumb at the nose. I grab this by the other side. I use my left hand to kind of pull back on the frame and push down with my right. That pops out. And again, you do the same thing for the right. You would have the side you're working on closest to you. But I tuck it in at the outside corner and then push down at the nose. Some people like to put it in the nose first and push down here. You'll develop your own technique. The reason why I push down here, that is the thickest part of the frame, and if I'm going to exert any force, that's where I want the force to be applied to the frame. And again, when I push down there, I want all the smooth surfaces from that lens to press down there, making the frame perfect on the front. Spin the axis wheel to 85, which again was your fine-tune knob for your left eye. Put it in over that black dot, and when I check the power, I'm getting 1 1/4, 1 tick mark away from 1 going towards 2. Speaking of 2, you have 3 steps of astigmatism correction. So I'm going to check that curve, and we're at -2. That's because if someone had borrowed $1.25 from you, then they borrowed another 75 cents, they would owe you $2. That's where we're at 2 in the red. So let's start back. Hopefully you guys can see that. When the 3 skinny lines are the spherical power, and 3 steps of astigmatism correction, we have 3 thicker lines. So we're going from 3 skinny lines to 3 thicker lines, and that's how you read the power in the lensometer. I cannot see what you guys are seeing. I have my camera pressed against the lens. But if this were off axis, I'm going to rotate the axis wheel. Back here, I'm going to move this left and right, and you will see what will happen. Those 3 skinny lines, hopefully you guys can see this. That's called breaking the axis. And that tells you whether these lines are clear or not. I don't know where to stop to make everything clear. Oh, I did. How about that? I stopped on 85. What are the odds of that? Man, the kit is good. I tell you, I couldn't have done these any better if I'd made these myself. Your pupillary distance is 32 for the right, 36 for the left, for a combined value of 68. I'm going to turn the card around, place the PD. Look, I broke my PD stick today. I'm going to have to get another one. But I'm going to place that against my thumb on your right lens. And when we hold it up to the left lens, we're getting 68 millimeters, so that is cut perfectly. Let's do something fun. Take a look at the center of the bridge right here. When we do that, we're getting 32 millimeters there. And then if we flip this over and do the same thing, we're going to end up with, let me do that a little lower, 36 millimeters there. So that is cut perfectly. The optical center height was 23. Place that against the lens, and we look at the middle of the frame, we're getting 23 millimeters. That's how you measure the optical height. The vertical decentration, 23 millimeters to the bottom of the frame. So this is the portion of every video that as I clean your lenses, I mentioned that when you get these in the mail, there is a small chance that these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That's because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other. Man, the ink just dries on there and doesn't want to come off. I'm going to get it. Nobody's more stubborn than me. There we go. Let me clean that a little bit. You are just stubborn. What side of the lens are you on? But anyway, 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other, and that's because of that statistic. 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. But I'm going to get these in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. Let me finish cleaning these off first. All right, let me do this. I'm not doing a good job, am I? Let me see this here. Let me see this here. This video is going to go long. Again, trying to be a perfectionist. I ship every pair of lenses that get shipped worldwide, and I only get one chance to make a first impression, so I'm going to make sure these are perfect. But the 3-point stance is 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I press down on the counter and make sure there's no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. When I take mine off and press down on the counter, mine wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. Now, you and I are almost twinsies. I'm wearing the same frame, the RayBan 2132 New Wayfarer. You have color 6052. I have color 6053. You have the black crystal. I have the blue crystal. You have the 55 eye size. I'm wearing the 52 eye size, slightly smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and activate these. I want to give them one more cleaning. In fact, not only will I send out a selfie request in every package, I would love to have your picture on the website. Z, one with them clear, one with them dark. So that, I guess that makes 2 pictures. Ignore what I just said. But I also send out instructions on how to care for your frame and lenses so they will last you for years, not just, as I mentioned, the frame and lenses, but the 3 cleaning cloths you're going to get, the premium microfiber cleaning cloth that I provide, your Crizal cleaning cloth, and then your RayBan cleaning cloth. But also not just provide instructions for that, but for the case too, so that will last you for years. Let me flip that over so I can see what I'm... Make sure there's no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly and that neither temple is askew like that. So this is what your transitions lenses look like with Crizal Sapphire. By the way, I've got the Transition Signature 7 with Crizal Sapphire also. So, but I'm going to expose them to a strong burst of ultraviolet light. I'm going to put them there. As you can see, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for transition lenses to darken. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside to lighten back all the way. About 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now Z, this is important. Pay attention. All transition lenses will get dark on day 1 and continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks they're exposed. The only time the Transition Signature 7 lenses won't work is if you're behind the windshield of a car. Your windshield absorbs all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays that would cause your dashboard to crack from sitting in the sun all day. That's why they won't turn dark in a car. They're also temperature sensitive, meaning that they will get darker when it's 85 and below than they will when it's 95 and above. But I remind everyone, when it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable, nobody and nothing works 100% when it's 100 degrees outside. Now, this time of year, they're going to get real dark. Don't worry about that. It's just the dog days of summer. They just won't get as dark as you like. So that's the first time they've been activated. Don't worry, they're going to keep getting darker and darker. Come on, Z, we talked about that. Don't you remember? So that's it. If you've liked what you've seen, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram as freeprescriptionlenses.com. On Twitter as freerxlenses. If you have any questions about what I can or can't do, you can just, on the website, you can just message me on the Contact Me page, or you can email me directly at freeprescriptionlenses.com. I also ask people, if you have a question or comment, leave your comment or question in the comment section below, because that way more than one person will be able to read your question and think, hey, I never even thought to ask that question. They can benefit from that. So as I keep running my mouth, you can see how these are getting lighter and lighter. Again, Z, thank you for supporting a small, independent, local businessman such as myself. And again, thank you for the purchase of the RayBan 2132 New Wayfarer color. Where's my flashlight? Color 6052 in the 55 eye size. And hopefully everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.